Have you ever dated someone who is hot one second, then cold another? I don't miss those days. I really don't. Maybe you're not dating someone like that. Maybe you have a friend who's dating someone like that right now. You are not even in the relationship, but you can feel the trembles of the emotional roller coaster that they are on. You don't want to say it. I get it. So I'll say it for you.
Shut the f up. You can shut up. I'm sick and tired of this shit. I love you. But you gotta take out the trash, girl.
When I was watching the story unfold, I gotta say, I was like, damn, how do they go to sleep at night? Like, aren't you scared of Judgment Day? This is a story just like that, but fortunately, this TikToker is out of that roller coaster. So we are gonna do a quick site visit to see exactly how crazy was the entire experience.
This is the story of how I found out my husband of 6 months was having an affair and building a whole life with someone right behind my back and then eventually right in front of my face.
Let's get into the story of Holly Jo Backer, whose ex-husband cheated on her with his high school besties because, and I quote,
She knows me emotionally.
and now he and his high school besties are married, pregnant, live happily ever after in his parents' basement. Let me just say this, okay? I'm not basement shaming. Good things come out of the basement. Just not the one besides this one. The one in Conjuring.
Girl, bye. You ugly as f. You look like my foot.
We don't want anything from the Conjuring basement. This story, it all started with golf. Not tennis, not pickleball. Golf, the rich people sport. Holly's ex-husband, let's call him Mark. Mark plays a lot of golf. For example, Holly and Mark, they go on a double date with another married couple. It's giving, let's go to a country club and hang out sort of vibe. Let's go do sport and then we can hang out. The ladies, they go swimming. The guys, they go golfing. They go their separate ways for a few hours. But when they are done, the first thing that Holly sees when she sees Mark is that he's drunk. Okay, she's annoyed. She's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home, make dinner, and go to sleep.
When they're hammered and all you want to do is just get home and rest and make dinner and go to sleep.
Baby girl.
We are not making dinner when one of us is drunk. We are going to order. You are not going to take care of him drunk. Cook for him, let him go to sleep. We are tired. But I digress. Holly and Mark, they drive home after that. I guess Mark like sobers up during the drive. So he tells Holly, you know what? I'll go out, pick up some dinner and we can eat it at home. So he does that. He comes back, they have dinner, everything is normal until he brings the dogs out for a walk.
Why do you keep going out alone?
I felt like he was out there for a really long time and I just thought maybe they were outside playing and I thought to myself, let me go out there and see what they're doing. I wanted to go play too.
Right, she goes out and she sees what he's doing. He's doing this. Imagine you're Holly and I am Mark. She asks, who was that? He replies,
Someone named Rick. I was playing golf with a Rick today.
Holly thinks to herself, what? There's no golfing with a Rick. She takes his phone and sees he was FaceTiming with Rick. He also shared his location with Rick. Why are you and Rick sharing locations?
Well, you know, so we could see where we are at the golf course.
Yeah. If you're a golfer, please clear this up for me. You need to let me know. Like, do you actually need to location share in the golf course? Because I know like golf courses are huge, but I want to know how legit is this lie. So you have to let me know. Back to the story. Holly takes a closer look at Rick's location. You want to guess? Like, they just got home, they just had dinner, and Rick's location is 6 hours away. Okay, how is this possible?
Rick? Which Rick?
Rick and Morty? Holly's curious. Something is not right. So later, she takes it upon herself to text that number with Mark's phone. What's up? And I'm guessing it's an unsafe number. She gets a response from this unsafe number.
Same place you left us.
With a photo of a pair of female legs. Holly immediately calls the number. Female Rick picks up. Let's call her
Suzanne!
Susanna tells Holly,
You know, we're best friends from high school. You know, I was just checking in on him. Like, there's nothing to worry about the photo. It's fine, nothing to worry about.
but after the phone call, something is still fishy. So Holly confronts Mark. Mark reassures Holly, like, yeah, it's Susan, you know, she's back in town. We just started catching up. When in fact, they have been catching up and texting for 2 weeks. How did Holly know? She checked his deleted messages. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about checking your partner's phone, checking your partner's location. Soon, we're gonna talk about that. For 2 weeks, Mark and Susan probably went on dates behind Holly's back, but she knew. But she knew one date upon checking some of his deleted messages.
And they actually went to Chewy's together. Whenever I thought he was going to a goodbye lunch for one of his coworkers that just got laid off.
Mark even took food to go for Holly after the date, okay? From the same restaurant, and he paid for everything with their joint credit card.
The disrespect, the disgust, the audacity.
Holly also found out other messages between Susan and Mark. Susan asking Mark,
How's married life?
let me just say this, okay? I feel like we tend to blame the other woman more than the men in situations like this. Why would you be involved with a married man as if it's completely their fault? No, it's not. It's both these people's fault, okay? If he wants to be taken, he will be taken, no matter what. If it's not this Susan, it's going to be the next Susan. One time, Susan FaceTimed Mark. He did not pick up. He texted Susan back saying,
I can't answer, you know, I'm still a husband sometimes. Haha.
I'm disgusted by how she's asking about his married life, knowing that he's married and she still want to get involved, and by how Mark is responding to Susan's questions. Like, what do you mean you're a husband sometimes? Like, what did you say on the altar? I vow to be your husband sometimes? So here's what happened. At this point, Mark is clearly cheating on Holly behind her back. So Holly confronts him with all these deleted messages, and she basically broke down. She was yelling, she was crying, she was screaming, and she was just distraught. And this is happening a day before Father's Day. On Father's Day, they were supposed to spend the day with his parents at their house, but she decided, you know what, I'll just stay home and you can go. So Mark went to his parents on his own. This is not ending yet, okay? Something happened on Father's Day. Before we get to that, let's skip forward a little bit. The day after Father's Day, in the morning, Mark wakes up at 6 a.m. to go golfing for 13 hours. Like 6 a.m., 13 hours of golfing on a Monday morning. Girl, what are we the coworker that got laid off? After that 13 hours, he had the audacity to call Holly to come pick him up from their mutual friend's house because Mark is drunk yet again. Holly gets there. Their mutual friend tells Holly,
Mark told me just now when he was drunk that yesterday he brought the girl that he had been texting over to his parents' house.
so here's what happened. He brought Susan over to his parents' house because she lives down the street. She only came to the backyard of their house and stayed for, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes and said hi and all. You know what? His parents was not having it. His parents were not happy about it, but they didn't tell Holly anything about it. The internet has a lot to say about this because parents, they're saying like they would never condone this behavior. So a lot of people do relate, but here's the kicker. His parents, or one of them, I don't know, would suggest later on to buy a house for Mark and Susan.
Okay.
Which is sort of
Interesting.
but anyway, let's get back into the story. Holly and Mark, they go home. She charges his phone. She checks his phone and sees Mark has been texting Susan while he was golfing for 13 hours. He texted Susan
I wish you were at the golf course.
with a bunch of videos sending back and forth. It's giving high school love. Mark does not sound like he has a job right now. Is it a surprise to Holly? No, but it hurts. So Holly sees the text. She starts screaming, she starts crying, yelling. But here's the thing. Out of all of this, she did not believe that Mark would actually drop this marriage, this 5-year relationship for Susan, for a short fling.
But I'm so in denial. I'm like, there's no way our marriage is ending. There's no way he's leaving me for this. little fling.
Holly thought Mark probably needed an ego boost. His high school sweetheart is back in town. There's nothing to worry about. Well, that was not the case because they would talk about trauma bond. We'll get to that soon. Enough, bestie. The second time Holly checked Mark's phone, she confronts him again to no avail. I mean, I don't know of any from Holly's video. It feels like he's just like, just let her cry, like she'll be fine, it's fine. Now let's get to the very sensitive but necessary question. What do you think of checking your partner's phone? I don't believe in it. We are not in school. I don't need to monitor your phone or whatever. I think it's a waste of time. But I feel like we should know what to do and what not to do, how to respect each other, this union, based on what we have said.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So with that, if you start acting weird when I'm near your phone or you change your password, I'm formatting you and your phone. And I also feel like if someone, he or she is driven to obsess over what's on the other person's phone, there's a bigger problem to talk about for both party involved. In this case, like Holly doesn't just check Mark's phone, she also checks his location. Well, they check both each other's location. With that said, let me know what you think and let's continue, okay? The next morning, Mark tells Holly that he needs a day for himself. He's going to his mom's house. And do you remember who lives down the street?
Susanna!
Holly doesn't think much about it. She goes about her day. She goes to lunch with a friend. The phone rings. It's Mark. He says,
"Hey, I see you're at lunch. Just making sure that you are having lunch. Are you gonna be there for a while?"
I think Holly says something like she's not sure. But as soon as she hangs up, her friend tells her, that's suspicious.
And she thought that was really suspicious. She's like, we need to go to your mom's immediately. We go there. He's not there, but his phone is. His phone is there so his location matches that he's at his mom's. We wait in the driveway until he gets back.
Oh my God, girl.
They wait for him to get back. He does. He sees Holly. Holly goes home. A few hours later, he goes home and he tells Holly,
I ended things with Susan. It will not be happening again.
Holly's like, you know what? Let's work things out. She signs them up for marriage counseling with their pastor. Girl, I'm telling you, people were grilling her on this. Like, why did you have to have marriage counseling with your pastor of all people? And I gotta say, when I first heard of this, I was like, pastor? Jesus, best pal? I've never heard of this. The more I think about it, it does make sense. But I'm also wondering, like, what would he say?
Jesus told me in a dream after our last session that he has a message for you.
You f***ed up, son.
That would be really cool. But Holly does tell us later that in her church, there's free marriage counseling with a licensed therapist. So people can go there, sign up, and have free counseling, which is honestly great. It's not like a one-time thing. It's like a 12-month plan sort of thing. Full therapy. And I feel like I could use some of that, to be honest. Anyway, Holly immediately signs them up for marriage counseling session, but the appointment is like approximately 2 weeks away. 14 days is a long time when you're in a situation like this. Would you check your partner's phone and location within this period of time?
So moving forward, the rest of the month of June was awful. I was constantly checking his phone, constantly checking his deleted messages, constantly checking his location.
Is this the right thing to do? No, but we are into the girl. Mark was trying, for the first week. He was cooking dinner. He was buying Holly flowers. He's trying to prove that Susanna and I no more. But the other week is when it all went to a few days before their marriage counseling. They were supposed to go on a vacation with Mark's family. That day, Mark and Susan were getting ready, but Holly is just like, I have this gut feeling. So she checks his phone and sees an ongoing conversation between Susan and Mark. She confronts him. She shows him the messages and he tells her,
I want a divorce. I don't want this marriage anymore.
buddy, you just tried for 7 days. This is insane. If you think about it, at which point did he decide that he no longer wants this marriage? This is an ongoing conversation, or he's doing all of this to gain trust, because he wants to do all of it again. Does he want both of them to himself? After this confrontation, Holly and Mark, they go their separate ways. She went back to her hometown.
I call his mom crying, saying I won't be going to Florida. There's just no way I can go, and I pack my bags and head back home to my hometown while he's in Florida. Before he leaves for Florida, he goes to hang out with her for about 3 hours, as I have his location, and he knew I could see what he was doing. So at this point, he didn't care to get caught.
Here is the alarming thing, okay? In this whole series, it's obsession with like checking his phone and location. I think during this period of time, during the separation, Holly is constantly checking Mark's location. After the vacation, he turns off his location.
Wow, that rhymes a little bit.
Holly sees that he turned off his location. Holly calls him and begs him to turn it back on. Holly says in the video,
so I call him, begging and pleading for him to turn his location back on and to come and see me immediately. Thankfully, he does.
Baby girl, we are not thankful when we recall all of this. Okay, we are not thankful. We are furious. If anything, within that 2 hours they made up, they decided to make it work, okay? But part of Holly knew that it was never gonna work because he told her about Susan's love letter. In that letter, Susan told Mark like how much she loved him, how much she wanted to be with him. He is still thinking about Susan, but Holly wants this to work so bad. Later on, she does tell us part of the reason why. Right now, at this point, she knew that the marriage is long gone, but she feels the need to hold it together because marriage counseling is a few days away. Is that a good enough excuse for this? A lot of people again was grilling her on this.
I would never do this to myself.
I would never let anyone disrespect me like that.
Break up with me twice, I still want you back? Never.
I get the sentiment, but you know, it's a lot easier to give advice than to actually do it, because even if you have heard about their history completely, you're not the one in the relationship. You have not experienced their history together. 5 years is a long time. They were planning to go on a trip together. They even wanted to have kids together. Those are the things that you talk about with someone that you love. It's very easy to come to a conclusion as an outsider, I feel. Also, I feel like we can all agree that Holly could could benefit from looking at her relationship as an outsider to see how the situation is. But history is a very, very powerful thing. Now let's get back to the story. 2 days before the marriage counseling, Mark breaks up with Susan via a letter. He typed it out, he printed it, he took a photo of it. I don't know if he sent her the photo or gave her the letter. If you did all that just to send a photo of the letter, baby girl, you need to divorce him just for that alone. Why don't you just send an email instead? That is psycho. In that letter, he tells Susan how much fun he has had, how much fun their dates were. He's going to miss her so much. It was the best time of his life, but he needs to work on this with his wife. He wants his marriage. Anyway, one day before marriage counseling, Susan packs lunch for him. Mark tells her that he will be away, very busy that day because he's conducting interviews all day. So Susan just left his lunch at his workplace. After work, he comes home. He comes clean. He tells Susan, I wrote Susan a letter, a breakup letter. Hollis then checks his phone.
I got into his phone so I could go to his photos and read the letter, and it was probably a good 7-paragraph letter. I went through his phone and she had texted him and asked why he called her that morning. She said she's been sleeping all day and hasn't really been on her phone since she got the letter from him.
So maybe during lunch, when Holly went to drop off his lunch, he was having lunch with Susan. With what as lunch? I don't know. So maybe he was conducting interviews, but there was only one interview. Holly is heartbroken. She confronts Mark. Mark tells her,
I will go to marriage counseling tomorrow, but after that, I'm done. I want to be with Susan.
Holly wants him to go to marriage counseling because Holly was hoping that the pastor and the therapist could put some sense into him, talk some sense into this guy. Holly says that the session was actually pretty good. The pastor was giving a lot of good advice. Can Jesus save this marriage? No! Holly does admit later on that she wanted this to work because of image. Just got married for 6 months. 6 months. Being divorced 6 months after is not exactly a good look, and I think they live in a small town. I feel like people from small towns would be able to relate to this. Image is a huge thing. People would be able to see the
Aftermath.
of their divorce, like Mark and Susan hanging out together. Some people in the comment sections like,
No, this girl never loved Mark to begin with.
It was always about the image. It was always about the how did they bought together. Like,
I don't know. Looking at the videos, I feel like she did really love him and it became very toxic. And you can always love a person and still care for your image individually and as a unit too. You know what I'm saying? Is she a gold digger if she's the one who can pay to keep the house all by herself? And he lives in a basement and needs his mom to buy him a house?
The next morning, everything seems fine. We wake up and go to work, and we are saying how much we love each other, and he is texting me all day saying that he wants to make this work again. Our pastor's message really got to him, and he wants to see this through, but he just needs some space. He goes,
Boy, you gotta make up your mind. He says,
I just need some space. I need some space to process the marriage counseling session. I just wanna have the day to myself, hang out with my buddy. My buddy.
he goes home, he packs a bag, and he tells Holly,
If you dare, check my location tonight. This is over. But this is far from over. Don't you dare show up where I'm at like you did last time. You know what? I'll just turn off my location.
What's that smell? Smells like manipulation. Holly says, please don't. I'm not going to check your location, but she checks the location. Anyway, Mark went to Susan's house. He even calls Holly Goodnight from Susan's place. Girl, this is some type of tormented guy. Did Mark and Susan feel bad at all? Like, which level of hell are we trying to get to? Does Susan feel empowered to have a married man call his wife from her bed? That is nothing to be proud of. Did Mark feel like in control, like telling your wife your relationship is far from over and then call her goodnight from your mistress' bed? Like I said, how do you go to sleep at night? If there's anything to be thankful for, is that this is the very, very last time that Mark is going to tell Holly it's over. But it's not over yet. Mark comes clean the next morning. He confessed to Holly.
Yes, I was at Susan's place. I want a life with Susan. I don't want to go to marriage counseling no more. I want to live in a basement with my high school best friend.
Part of it is verbatim, part of it is me.
Fortune telling.
Holly tells us the full history. This is the reveal of Mark and Susan's history. They went to high school together. They always flirted. And they are just that couple. You know that couple, like. But they are never boyfriend and girlfriend. He wanted her, but she did not want to date him. So they went their separate ways for college onwards. After that, Mark meets Holly. 5 years later, they get married. Susan comes back though, sees Mark, and then she decided,
You know what? I want to reconnect with Mark.
and Mark is like,
Let's reconnect.
he told Holly that he simply cannot pass up this chance, cannot miss this opportunity to be with Susan. This is disgusting. I need you to like hold your breath, okay? This is what Mark told Holly.
I wanted to propose to Susan, but since she was not here, so I proposed to you instead.
The fuck? This should have never been something that you say to someone. This is your responsibility to process, but Mark tells Holly his connection with Susan is just so much deeper. Like Susan understood him emotionally because Susan was there when his little sister passed away when they were in high school. So they bonded over that trauma. They shared grief together. Nothing, absolutely no connection in this world could trump that. Not even a connection with your chosen wife.
And because you, Holly, have never experienced grief like that, you would not be a good mother.
Please, please, please. Like Sabrina Carpenter said. Please, please. What a Lola bull. You know, I'm sorry that you lost your sister. Do I hear a lot of blaming? Yes. Like, where's the accountability? I'm sorry that I led you on. I'm sorry that I wasted your time, but I need to do this. Like, I hope that you forgive me. It's my fault. Where is that? Holly, after hearing all of this, she tells Mark, I'm gonna go back to my hometown. I need to be with my family just for one day. She packs her bag. She brings her dog, or, you know, it was their dog still at a time. Before she left, Mark asks her when she would be back, because Mark wants to bring Susan over to their house. Like, this is still their house together. In that house, they had 2 cameras at home. He covered one of the cameras with a blanket. One day after, Holly comes back to that house and she sees the aftermath of the sleepover, beer bottles everywhere, a playlist on their TV, and to make it worse, Susan's jeans and socks all over Mark and Holly's bed. He even spent $100 at a nearby restaurant on their joint credit card. Girl, remember just now I said like maybe Mark wants both Holly and Susan, because weeks after the separation, Mark would call Holly and tell her,
You are such a B word. Like, my parents and my grandparents love Susan.
other times he would even show up at Holly's house to want to talk to Holly, and Holly would entertain it. Holly did. She was very heartbroken. It makes sense. I get it, babe. It's okay. But a month after the separation, Holly's father needs an open heart surgery. She calls Mark. She asks him for help. Like, maybe you can take care of the dog. Maybe you could be here for me too. Because, you know, she was there for him. And his answer was,
I cannot be there for you. I cannot take care of your dogs. I need to support my girlfriend.
fortunately, Holly's father's surgery went well, and fortunately, this was the moment that Holly realized that this is over between her and Mark. He files for divorce a few weeks later. Easy. It was very much like, take anything as long as I can be with my Susanna. Okay, Mark and Susan are actually married right now, or going to be married. I believe they're already married. They've been living together in his parents' basement, and his mom wanted to buy a house for them. I don't know how it went, but Susan was pregnant. Somewhere down the line, like, Mark called Holly to want to see the dog. Like, she said, okay, like, you can come and see the dog. He didn't actually show up. As for Holly, she owns the home. She also has their 2 beautiful dogs. She's on dating apps. She's like, where's my husband? But not desperate, you know. She's taking her time. She's doing good. She went to therapy. She got a new car. She got a raise. Like, good things are happening to this girl. That is pretty much the end of the story. What do you think? I feel like cheating stories, every time I read another one, it's like not new, but each time I'm still like,
Sure. From the audacity. You know what I mean?
as a product, I'm not proud of it, of infidelity. I hate infidelity. You know, seeing people around me deal with infidelity, it had affected me in relationships, both romantic and non-romantic. You should always prioritize yourself. If you care for someone, you should also show respect to your partner by not always choosing the easiest way out. The easiest way out could be having an affair, or it could also be waiting for your partner to discover the affair, so you don't have to have those difficult conversations. The affair is not just affecting you, your ex-partner, and your affair partner. It will also affect your kids and how they deal with relationships in life, and it's gonna get ugly. Like, it's gonna get ugly. You need to really, I don't know what good things come out of affair. That's just not a good way of handling things. But I do love what Lorraine said. A house built on another woman's tears never stands. If y'all trauma bonded so hard that y'all decide, you know what, we are going to make this work in the basement, there's going to be another bond that's going to be stronger than this bond, and there's always going to be the next Susan or Mark. It's just a waiting game.